Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary or situation report or the SITREP for the day of 803 for the 6th of May. We're going to start off with Frontline Changes report. There is three. We have Berestove, Kalinina, as well as NOVOPOKROVSKE. Then after that, we'll go into the strategic and tactical reporting. So first thing first is Berestove. So according to the latest geolocation, there is Russian forces geolocated basically at this tree line around here, and this tree line, because this position is so close to the this alleged front line by the Ukrainian mapping, we have to invalidate parts of this front line because the Russians are just too close to this location. So the Ukrainian mapping is going to change to look something like this. So there's just some slight frontline change based on the Ukrainian side of the mapping. So the next frontline change, so this one is at Berestove. Berestove is over here, Kromalny is here, and this Kupyansk, Novoselivske. So the next frontline change is over at Kalinina. Kalinina is at the Bakhmut front, and basically this is just off Avdiivka, and new geolocations have revealed that the Ukrainian forces actually still have control of these trenches around here. So this actually is either the Russian claim is invalidated, is wrong, or that the Ukrainian forces have actually counterattacked and captured these trench lines. So which means that the Russians still have control over Avdiivka, but the zone of control is actually a lot lesser than it was previously understood to be. So this is the front line change around here over at Kalinina at the Bakhmut front. So this is Novi, Kalinina, then Bakhmut city. So the next frontline change is over at NOVOPOKROVSKE, over at the Avdiivka front. So this is Avdiivka city, and NOVOPOKROVSKE is over here. It's on the west of Bedaichi, and Russian forces continue the attack over at NOVOPOKROVSKE, and which is over here, and the Russian forces are expanding control in this area here. Between Bedaichi and NOVOPOKROVSKE, the Russian forces are expanding their control. It looks like the Ukrainian forces did not leave, did not bolt from this region here. They continue to hold a strong line around this area here from Semenivka, Bedaichi, and NOVOPOKROVSKE. So the advance from the Russians is actually very slow. So that's all from the frontline changes report. We go on to the Kherson front for the strategy and tactical reporting. Over here, there is only fighting being reported at Krinky, but this time round, there is corroboration from Ryba, the pro-Russian source, reporting that the Ukrainians continue to hold position at Krinky. So very impressive that this Krinky continues to be being fought over after so long, despite the strategic significance of this location. We move into the Zaporizhia front. Also over at the Zaporizhia front, this is Zaporizhia city. There is only fighting being reported over at Robotine. So Russian forces continue to be attacking in this area here. It's reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry and Ryba, but that's about it. So you may also notice later as we go along, there is very few reports over the past 24 hours, because yesterday's SITREP already covered the Russian Defense Ministry's yesterday's report, as well as there is lesser reports, or like lesser detailed reports coming from the Russian sources. So which means that there's a high chance that because they are celebrating the Orthodox Easter, so which is why a lot of people is not working. So there's actually less reports to talk about. So, and maybe the front line just got more quiet as well. Fighting is reported at Staromayorske and Uruzhaine at the Donetsk front. They are also fighting reported towards Vodian, Konstantinivka, Paraskovievka, as well as Krasnohorivka. So this is the strategic situation around this front line. Pretty much normal stuff. There's nothing particularly special about all of this information. So we'll move on from this area. We move into the Avdiivka front. So over at the Avdiivka front, there is fighting reported in these areas here. I think I have to break into half. So in the southern half, we have fighting reported at Nevelske, Netalove, Yasnoprotivka, as well as Umanske. So the Russians are continuing their offensive. But that's about it. Yesterday I predicted that the Ukrainians will withdraw from Pervomaiske, but there is just not enough information today to judge anything, so we will continue to monitor. Over the northern half, as per mentioned, there is fighting reported from Badaichi region towards NOVOPOKROVSKE. There is fighting reported towards Sotkil, as well as NOVOOLEGZENDRIVKA. There is geolocation of Russian forces off Solovyove, confirming Russian presence, and that corroborates the front line. And that's about it actually from the Avdiivka front. We have no updates regarding this northern side where about Arkhangelsk, Kramik, Kalinove. There's just no information about all this. So I wonder if it's Easter, or is it because the Ukrainian defense has proved to be too effective right now, that they managed to reorganize and the Russians are unable to push through. So we'll continue to monitor the situation over at this Avdiivka front. There is also just another geolocation of counter artillery action, but it's not very important. We moved into the New York front. At the New York front, there is just geolocation reports of Russian airstrike. Guided bomb strikes on Ukrainian positions over at Oleksandropil as well as the southern part of New York, but that's about it. Nothing else over in this front line. We move into the Bakhmut front. In the southern flank of the Bakhmut front, Russian forces attacked in the area of Klishchiivka and Andriivka, and that's about it. In the northern flank, we have fighting reported at Novi. Multiple geolocation of FPV drone attacks in the area of Novi and Chasivya by the Russian forces. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, Ukrainian forces geolocated in these trenches just off Bohdanivka, confirming that the Ukrainians have taken control or retained control over in this area here in the western part of Bohdanivka. So this is the few changes, few reports over this area here. We move on away from the Bakhmut front into the Siversk front. At the Siversk front, we still have pretty much the same thing as per yesterday. Russian forces attack at Bilohorivka, Verkhan towards Vimka, as well as Rozdolivka. And that's about it from the Siversk front. There's no particularly anything special about this front line. Over the Kremlin front, we only have reports of fighting at Terny, Yampolivka, and within the Serebiansky forestry. So that's about it. We move into the Siversk front. At the Sviatove front. At the Sviatove front, we only have fighting reported at Stemakivka. And that's about it from this area. And moving into the Kupyansk front. At the Kupyansk front, there is several fighting. This Kupyansk city. Fighting reported at Sinkivka and over at towards Peshchany as well as Berestove. So over at the Berestove region, we have the geolocation as per mentioned earlier in the frontline changes report, showing Russians at least having more presence than the Ukrainian mapping suggested. So Russian forces pushing towards Peshchany as well as towards Berestove. Over at the Kotelivka and Kaislivka region, there is geolocations of the Russian raising their flags in the two towns. So these two definitely is an indication and confirmation of the Russian capture of these two towns, which is now reported by Ryber. And over at the Sinkivka, there's no other news. It's just a Russian attack. And that's about it from the Kupyansk front. We move into the border region. There is two geolocation. This is wrong color. So Russian forces launched airstrike over at Slobozhansky in some Ukrainian position, as well as there's a Lancet strike on the Ukrainian artillery over at Sosnivka. So with these two strikes, one airstrike, one Lancet strike, that's about it from the Kharkiv front, and there's no other reports over at the other front, other locations. So this is the SITREP, or the summary or the situation report for the day of 803 for the 6th of May. Very short report because a lot of the information has been reported yesterday, and maybe it's the Easter as well. So thank you for watching. Do press the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next update.